to my channel. I'm Andrea M. Stuckey, the divorce liberator and your favorite life and divorce coach. Listen, make sure that you like and subscribe to my channel. Today, I want to talk to you about 3 things to consider when you're thinking about remarrying. 3 things to consider when you're thinking about remarrying. Now, listen, I have been divorced twice, so I can tell you a little about remarrying, and I can also tell you about some of the things that people are not thinking about when they are merging families together, right? Or you're marrying again for the second, third, or fourth, or fifth time, whatever, no judgment, right? Because I've been married twice. But I want to share a couple of things with you that you may want to consider if you are in a love relationship, or even if you're thinking about marrying versus not marrying again, and all of those things, right? Very, very important. So the first thing I want to share with you is that will you be blending families? Will you be blending families? This is something people aren't talking about. I've read on social media about, I see sometimes on these relationship blogs or, posts, and people asking questions, if your man asked you to move across the country, would you get up and leave? And, all those different things, right? Let me tell you something. If you're blending a family, if you have children, depending on the age of those children, you have to consider a lot of things, right? So when I remarried after my first marriage, my oldest child was 3 years old. And my oldest child did not remember her biological father. So those were some interesting dynamics. But I will tell you, I didn't have my second child until 7 years later, right? We made sure that there was sort of a cohesion in that blending of the family. And my second husband did not have any biological children of his own prior to my second child, right? But those are things I want you to consider, because sometimes when you blend families, depending on the age of the children, some of the things you have to be aware of is that there are loyalty issues that can come up when you have quote unquote bonus or stepchildren, right? They may feel that you as a parent, male or female, love the other, the wife or the husband more than you love the children, and all those type of things. So you want to make sure that those relationships are cohesive, that the expectations are clear, and that your children or whatever family members that are blending are aware of the real dynamics of the relationship, right? So they have a great expectation, because if you don't, those are things that can put a lot of strain and pressure on your new marriage. Yes, can put a lot of strain and pressure on your new marriage. The second things are, and these aren't in any particular order, we want to make sure that you're not bringing unhealthy emotional patterns into your new relationship. Have you or your new fiance, have they fully healed from any past relationship damage, if there was any? And how can you quantify that? Have you had some counseling or therapy or coaching, or have you read some books, or have you done any type of introspection based on that last relationship? And has your partner does the same? He or she done the same? Or how can they quantify it? Have you talked about it? What are their emotions that come up when they talk about those past relationships? Because you want to make sure that you guys both have a clean slate, that you're able to trust one another, and you're not bringing old baggage into the new relationship, that you're able to be honest with one another, that you're truly committed to this relationship, and that you have effective communication skills. Now, how do I know this? Because I made that mistake. Not only did I make that mistake in my second marriage by bringing a lot of baggage into my second marriage, but I also have coached women for almost 7 years who have done the same, right? Who have not healed, or who have been out of a marriage for quite some time, but still have a lot of resentment, a lot of anger, and a lot of trust issues. Time in itself does not heal those things. You have to work through them depending on the nature of your experience, right? Some things are more challenging to let go, but you want to be able to heal, right? So that you can bring trust, honesty, communication, and commitment into that next relationship. That's big. So make sure you're having those, not only those conversations with yourself, but with your future spouse or significant other. And then lastly, I want to share that I talked about communication, but communication. Do you understand what effective communication is? And how well is the communication even prior to remarrying, right? One of the things that I will say as a woman that I recognize that we, in general, right, there's exceptions, but a lot of women that I have worked with, and I've had this past mindset myself, is that we expect others to read our minds. We expect our man to know what we want. We expect our man to know what gifts to give us, what dinners we want, where we want to go, what we're thinking, how we need help, how we want to be loved. And that is not the truth. We have to be able to communicate that in an effective way. No one is a mind reader. You're not a mind reader, and no one else is a mind reader. So you have to learn in a very respectful way to communicate your needs to your significant other. That is such an important part of communication. Now, there are other aspects too, but I wanted to point that out because as women, sometimes we feel, well, that's not romantic if I tell him I want chocolates. Well, do you want chocolates or not? Right? Because depending on the individual, some men are more in tune and some are not. And it's nothing personal, right? It's just who they are, their personality, maybe even their particular love language, right? So I want to make sure that you are thinking about these things before you're considering remarrying. Effective, healthy communication is so important. And so I just wanted to come and share, as a two-time divorcee and divorce coach, that these are some of the things that I think are very important that I don't really hear people talking about on social media. And from my experience, not only having gone through a couple of marriages, but also in working with women, especially divorced and separated women, who have been hurt and who have a desire to move forward into a healthy relationship. So you want to think about these things before you consider remarrying again. So quick recap. Number one, if you're going to be blending families, I talked about that. You want to pay close attention to what all that looks like and what that means. And depending on the ages of your children. Number two, healing. Are you both healed? And how can you quantify it? And then number three, effective, healthy communication skills. And for us women, men are not mind readers. Learn how to effectively communicate what you want and need in a relationship. Okay. So again, I'm Andrea M. Stuckey, Divorce Liberator, your favorite divorce coach. Listen, share this video out. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Check out all the plethora of resources that I have available below. And I will see you next time. Have a great day.